I keep seeing all these videos pop up of these tiny cars in Italy squeezing through the narrow streets of Florence, and it got me thinking, would it even be possible for American cars to fit on those streets?
Consider these two best-selling car models for both the US and Europe in 2022. The Ford F-Series with over 653,000 units sold, and the Peugeot 208 with over 206,000 units sold. Notice the obvious size difference. American SUVs are now longer than the tanks that fought in World War II. But it wasn't always like this. After the megaboats of the 50s, the 60s brought in a new era of small and compact cars like the Chrysler Valiant or the Ford Falcon. Even the pickup trucks were much smaller back in the day. The F-Series produced in the 1950s were around 25% smaller than the F-Series produced currently.
But in the last couple of years, American cars have supersized. So why did American cars get so big over time? Well, Jerry's got your back, so let's get into it. In the mid-1970s, the US had a drastic fuel shortage, prompting the government to take drastic measures to counter their dependence on other countries for oil.
So in 1975, US lawmakers passed a law that forced all automakers to double the average fuel efficiency of all passenger cars, which included sedans and station wagons in the next 10 years. However, missing in the passenger car category were pickup trucks mainly used by farmers and construction workers for hauling equipment and supplies. Less restrictions and regulations for pickup trucks meant more incentives for automakers to start producing more comfortable pickup trucks at a much lesser price compared to the heavily regulated small compact passenger cars.
So basically, bigger cars became cheaper to make.
Throughout the 1980s, Jeep started introducing modern SUVs like the 1984 Jeep Cherokee XJ. Ford introduced the Bronco and Explorer to take advantage of the money-making opportunity with bigger SUVs. To get it out to more and more consumers, SUVs advertisements indicated how the cars made people feel fearless, powerful, and adventurous. They featured rugged mountains, off-road trips, and huge, expansive American landscapes. Coincidentally, this marketing tactic overlapped with the cultural shift that was happening in the US in the 80s. Reagan came into office when Americans were hopeless about the future, America had just lost a war, economic recession was on the rise, the Watergate scandal took the nation by storm. So Reagan brought with him a strong sense of optimism about America's future and rugged individualism. He helped revive the heroism spirit in ordinary American people. This culture shift resonated with the marketing themes that the SUVs makers were featuring in their ads.
SUV popularity exploded in the 90s as American drivers enjoyed the lofty seating positions of SUVs as well as the capacity and the comforting feel of security that their bulk size provided.
The auto industry recognized this shift, and between 1990 and 2000, SUV advertising grew from $172 million a year to $1.5 billion per year. This huge push to change how Americans saw bigger cars reaped huge benefits. In 2022, the top 3 cars sold in the US were all SUVs or pickup trucks. In 2010, the EPA's greenhouse emission standards incentivized automakers to enlarge vehicles. Regulations set CO2 limits based on size, so bigger dimensions allowed for higher emissions, so automakers were even more incentivized to increase the size of their older models.
Over the last few decades, it started to make more financial sense for car manufacturers to build bigger cars, so they pushed those bigger cars to consumers. And American consumers wholeheartedly accepted these spacious, big, and comfortable SUVs and trucks. Analysts have even speculated that SUV and truck sales will surpass 75% of car purchases made in 2025. American consumers love their big cars, but it would take some pretty major regulation changes in the future to see that attitude change.
Jerry, the All Car app that's got your back. Because we car.